Does anyone want some friggers?
Some what? I don't know how I thought that.
Stop advertising McDonald's.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Brutally Honest Reviews. My name is Bobby. This is Evan. This is Justin. And today we got our special guest, Rob, joining us to review A Quiet Place.
Which is the horror movie equivalent to Marco Polo.
It sure is, Justin. So you got A Quiet Place that was not only stars, co-written, and directed by John Krasinski. So what this movie is about is a semi-post-apocalyptic world where there is a small family who not only tries to survive but thrive in this world as their area is riddled with the Demogorgons from Stranger Things.
I think it's more like
They're a cross between a lot of different things. You could say Predator. You could say Alien.
You could probably say Cloverfield a little more than you'd like to.
Perhaps.
Cloverfield-ish.
But anyway, so yeah, we won't go into spoilers right away. We'll give a brief overview of what each of us thought of the movie. Then we'll get spoiler heavy. So Justin, what did you think of A Quiet Place?
So I thought The Quiet Place was probably one of the, it's not a horror film, but it's definitely one of the most thriller-esque movies I've seen since Don't Breathe, in which this is a movie that leaves zero relief and makes your ass so fucking tight the entire film that I loved every second of it. How could I not? But we'll get to a little bit more after. What about you, Evan?
I f***ing loved it. I feel like the entire movie kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time, and even the end. Spoiler alert. I'm not gonna actually give a spoiler. I lied. So even at the
Can't
end,
do that yet. We're good.
I was sitting on the edge of my seat. I kind of was sitting in my seat watching the credits, thinking there was gonna be something after, knowing that there wouldn't be.
Nick Fury was gonna show up.
Yeah, things were dropping in the credits, and I was like, I thought shit was happening, like in the movie still. Like I left with a buzz.
Nice. Rob, what'd you think?
I love this movie. This may have been either my favorite movie of the year so far or a second favorite, only to Annihilation. But what I loved about this movie is from the word go, as soon as it gave how far after the happenings, I was quiet the entire time, completely enveloped in the story.
Lucky for you, there was no word go for nearly 30 minutes of this movie.
What I thought that this movie did really well, I liked it. I wouldn't go as far to say that I loved it. I applaud it for being incredibly well done. And I think it's a fantastic movie. I just personally I wouldn't be like, oh my God, like I love it. I think you guys are more, I mean, I know that you're a huge fan of horror.
I would like to argue that you can't call anything one genre, but
Sure. I don't think this is a horror movie at all. But those horror-esque, thriller-esque type films where you are on the edge of your seat, those are the types of movies that you love. Typically, that's not like my thing, but you can't deny a well-crafted movie regardless of what genre it is and regardless of what you like. So it was really, really well done. And one of the biggest things that I thought was really well done is its ability to submerge you into its world. Where I saw this in a crowded theater, everyone was as quiet as the main characters the entire time. Like the movie did such a great job showing you how much sound there actually is in the world and how you can't make it. So much so that when you were watching it, you felt like you couldn't make any noise either. So I thought that was just an interesting thing. Just an interesting thing in general. I loved the fact that there's about 20 words in this movie, like actual words,
and they're meaningful.
I like
Yeah.
the point of it too. Is like
dialogue, yeah.
the intro is so quiet for so long that you become like comfortable with the quiet. That the second a sound happens, you want to punch somebody in the face for making a sound. Because even like, okay, let me backtrack a little bit.
I agree.
Like, you know exactly what's happening when you see this movie for the first 30 minutes, even though zero exposition's given, nothing is said, nothing is really like you really have no idea what this is about. But then you do know what this is about. And so the second the first sound is heard, you want to throw something at the fucking character.
I was actually telling Taylor was eating popcorn next to me. She was the only noise theater, and I was 20 minutes into the movie. I was like, Taylor, are you done with your popcorn? Can you please shut the fuck up?
Nobody was eating in this theater. When I went, nobody was eating.
It was great. Like it did a good job. The world building was.
You really get sucked into the world watching the movie.
Yeah, and you realize even something so subtle like the lantern falling. You go, oh my god.
That wasn't very subtle, though. It's just pretty dramatic.
But it's dramatic. But the thing is, like, small things like that happen every day.
Yeah.
And you don't bat an eye at it. You don't go, oh my god, that happened. But the movie just does such a good job. What I really liked about it is the quietness wasn't a gimmick to get you hooked into the movie. They stayed true to the movie the whole time, and 95% of the movie is all sign language. And it's all the emotion that these actors are able to convey strictly with their facial expressions and their mannerisms. And yeah, I mean, I want to go into spoilers right now. Let's give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're spoilerific. So
Rip.
I saw this in the Providence Place Theater. There was a Dave & Buster's next door, and I was playing some video games, and I actually showed up a little bit late. So tell me how this movie actually opens, because I think the scene that I missed was the boy playing with the thing that I saw in the trailer.
You guys mind if I take this one?
Go for it.
Okay, well, it opens up there in a broken down pharmacy looking for supplies to bring back to the house. This boy sees a rocket ship, which is his way. He envisions them getting out of this situation, taking a spaceship off of this earth and just escaping the monsters. His dad sees him with the spaceship, and you can tell he's mortified because he knows that this spaceship can make sound. And as a little kid, you're curious. You just want to have fun, play with toys. His heart drops immediately. Takes the toys from him, takes the batteries out, and basically apologizes to the kid, saying, I'm sorry, I know you want to, but you just can't. It's too dangerous. His deaf sister sees how much he wants this and gives him the toy back with the batteries out. The kid leaves the pharmacy, looks back, sees the batteries, and grabs them. And at that moment, the entire theater I was in was like, oh.
Yeah, you knew it.
Everyone in the theater, there was a collective groan, like, he's a little kid, but at the same time, this idiot, right?
Yeah.
Like it was deserved.
Yeah.
Natural selection.
Oh my god.
Finest.
You just knew exactly what was going to happen at that point. They're on the walk home, and this little kid's far behind everyone. He sees how far he is. He's like, all right. Takes out the toy, starts playing it, hears how loud it is, and continues to play with it. And you see his dad turn around and go, like, he makes no sound, but you can see it. You can see it in his eyes how devastated he is. He books it for this kid. Snatched up. Done.
Now, so obviously you saw that in the trailer. You saw that kind of interaction cut up within the trailer.
Yeah.
He was taken right then and there in the middle of the woods when they were walking on the
Right
trail.
in the beginning.
But the rest of the family was completely safe simply because they were quiet.
They can't see.
I know that they can't see, but in terms of like just stepping, making sounds, going like things like that, like there was no worry of them getting hurt either.
There's a little bit of a miss.
They kind of address this later on, that if there's a louder sound around, smaller sounds are okay. They also have the entire path laid out on the way home with sand to allow quiet stepping.
Yeah. The small little things like that is where I thought
The subtleties in the environment.
the movie really thrived.
Yeah.
In terms of being like this, I said it in the overview. You know, not only is the family trying to survive, but they're trying to thrive with playing games. With you know the whole pregnancy is kind of symbolic, I think, of you know coming anew and adding to this family and trying to find a happy
Silver lining.
yeah, even within this you know hell that they're living in. And I thought that was really cool. So I'm brought up to speed. I was there, and I got in. I actually went in during the kids playing Monopoly, and even Monopoly, their pieces were in
yarn pieces,
like little pieces of yarn, so they wouldn't make any noise. And I was just like, oh, they thought of everything. Was there anything else I missed? Clearly, the girl feels responsible. I gathered that from context clues throughout. She feels like the dad blames her as she puts the toy in the grave. Like there was that whole thing. Was there anything else that I missed from the opening to the Monopoly?
Right after the youngest son dies, is a time jump of a little bit over a year. So that's right where it picks off.
Was it exactly a year? I was trying to.
It was over a
the
year. It's
days
like
in the
400 and
theaters.
something days.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly a year. I was thinking like it would be symbolic to be on the day that he's gone, but it wasn't. It didn't add up.
Yeah. So,
Tried for a while.
So right from there, we have the kids playing. The lantern falls.
Yeah.
He quickly brings it back together, and then you kind of just see all of these kids do, or all of these people inside of the, kind of start doing their own thing. You get the kids playing, and then you go downstairs, and you have this, what I thought was like a really genuine conveyance of emotions where the mom and the dad are downstairs. She takes her headphone, puts it in his ear, and they're both kind of just like dancing in silence. Well, not silence to them, but dancing in the silence, and you know, just trying to have a nice
Privacy
romantic
of
moment. You know, in the midst of trying to not get eaten by these death monsters. Like it was just all of these moments. Just they felt earned to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that was really cool. You can also see like down there
All his notes.
Yeah, that's another thing I was saying. Like he's trying to figure
This
thing
guy
out.
is totally on top of everything.
Yeah, like he's trying to figure it out. You see him like soldering new hearing aids for his daughter. Really, you know, just
I thought that was a really clever kind of Signs-esque moment at the end too, and jumping ahead a little bit, but when we find out that the girl is able to use the hearing aids to her advantage to kill or incapacitate the monsters.
yeah.
Like in Signs, where it's the glasses of water that the girl leaves around. You know, I find-
Unknowingly helps them later on. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool.
I loved the jump back and forth between hearing nothing from the girl's perspective to hearing a little something from everybody else's perspective. It wasn't night and day because you had to be quiet.
That's
you know
interesting, because I didn't like that at first. I was trying to think of like how could they have done it better? How could they have done it better? And I couldn't think of anything. So I don't think they did. I don't know if there's something they did wrong, but I think early in the movie, when I was kind of getting into it, I didn't really kind of get why they did what they did. But then later in the movie, it made more sense because every time they would do it, it would become more and more impactful, and more things would happen, and she would just not know, or things would just go over her head, and we'd know. So I think the lack of noise was definitely unnerving.
Yeah, I liked that. The reason I liked it was because it was barely a difference. And when you did, excuse me, when you had the absolutely no noise, dead silence of the perspective of this deaf girl, you then go and hear that even when you're being as quiet as humanly possible, there's noise. You know what I mean? So I just liked that, you know, back and forth of nothingness to barely just a little something. I liked, you know, the subtleties, like how we were talking about. The movie's very subtle, nothing's in your face. Everything's very just like, here you go. Like just cute little things, and you know, I appreciated it. Where does it go from there? Justin, what comes right after the that scene where they're dancing the next day What happens?
I believe there's like a lot of exposition in which the character played by John Krasinski tries to teach the kid a bunch of stuff.
When they go on their little
Takes them
hike.
to the waterfall.
They go on a hike.
Catch fish.
Yeah, that's when the first lines of the movie end up surfacing.
It was kind of a cool thing where he kind of teaches the boy two things at once. He kind of teaches him how to survive and when it's okay to make loud noises, but also try to make it more comfortable. So it was a weird opportunity in the movie to do two things at once where it fit completely, and I think that was a real strong point. And then we have the girl, thinking that she's not loved because she blames herself for, her brother's death, and goes off on her own because she's pissed off that she can't go with her dad.
Yeah.
She goes back and she mourns the loss of her brother, and then all that fiasco happens. She leaves her mom. Her mom has the baby and shit happens.
Dude, fucking nail.
Oh God, that nail. They set that up so well.
Oh my God, that would hurt.
I have never been more pissed off about a fucking nail in the floor for nearly 30 minutes of my life.
You know why that was so though? Because they did it. They showed the nail being plucked up by the laundry 20 minutes before she steps on it.
Yeah.
So we know it's
You
there.
almost forget
You know what's
about
gonna
it.
happen.
Yeah.
and
But
it doesn't
then
happen.
when you see her going down the stairs, you
Yeah.
I gotta, okay. I work for a woodworking company, and I gotta say this, I'm sorry.
we know stairs aren't constructed that way.
They're not.
Yeah.
It's so the thing got caught like this, right? Here's the edge of the step, and the laundry basket goes like this, and it goes boom, and then the nail just ends up, and I'm like, there's not nails in the step this way going outward. Like, it just, small things like that bring me out of the movie.
Well, have you
And-
been to the studio here? Because there's nails everywhere.
Yeah. But the way these steps,
True.
a nail wouldn't come up because of that.
Yeah.
And that annoyed me. I like that it was there. I like that they put it in. It was they placed it in there. It wasn't heavy-handed about being just like, oh, boom, and then the next scene she's going down and she's stepping on it. It's set up well. But that's not how stairs are built. And it annoyed me a little bit because I was like, no matter what you did with your laundry basket right there, no matter what happened, it wouldn't result in a nail sticking straight up. It just wouldn't. I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me a little bit. But I wouldn't say like, oh, this was, like, it was fine. But stairs that way, it wouldn't happen.
Most of the problems people have with the movie, I can come up with a little, but look at this way. Stairs aren't built that way.
They're
You don't nail them.
What if the monsters built the stairs? They're blind.
Whoa. Whoa, they're blind. That honestly, Evan.
Yeah, you truly don't know if this is their
That's it.
house. Like, there's
Do we not?
No, there's truly no
No,
way.
that's
You don't. There are pictures on the walls of them. There are things of elements that make you believe like this is their home now, but there's no inclination that this was their home before.
I
That whole
personally
Dave
believe it's the
Chappelle thing
house,
breaks in the
but you're
house, puts up his
right.
pictures of his family everywhere.
This is think about this is set, I believe, in 2020.
It's pretty close to modern time, just
Yeah.
basically a year or two in the future.
That's super interesting.
I really like the cinematography, by the way. While you're on the nail, how about that shot? This is, again, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but how about that shot about when she gets into the bathtub and the two legs coming out and the fucking blood?
Yeah.
That made me wet, and also I know she was too with blood. But yeah, that's the scene. That cinematography was.
I mean, let's talk about the birth scene. I mean, I think that this was one of the high points of the movie.
Can we get to the point where like who decided to reproduce
Dude, that's
during this?
that's Emily Blunt. You don't pull out.
Why would you reproduce
They're married in real life.
Oh yeah.
in
Oh,
this
wow.
universe?
It doesn't matter, dude. That's still
Connection was
Emily
good.
Blunt.
I mean,
I don't
great
give a who it is. Why would you reproduce in a universe where quiet is key?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure most babies are accidents.
accidents happen, and
Same.
what if they're not against?
Yeah.
You know, what
they're
if
not about to
against
make a bunch of
abortion?
noise to go and steal condoms from a broken down pharmacy. Like, nah, they got other things. That
Oh, they
need to
could
do.
have at the beginning of the
But
movie. when
yeah,
they were
you
there
see
already, but-
see that she's pregnant, and you're like, yeah, this is gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
That was not my first
Immediately
thought.
when I saw she was pregnant, I was like, how the fuck are they gonna do?
My
this?
first thought was
I
definitely
don't
like abortion.
I don't care how tough of a woman you are, you're gonna scream a little bit. I mean, I've never pushed anything out of, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Babies' heads like this big.
And all the different characters and where they were. So we're at the waterfall. They're talking about like, hey, you should tell, did we get their names?
No,
They
never said
really
their names.
only say the kids' names once or twice.
So I don't remember what they were, but
can-
basically the son, fact check.
The
can make this
son's
happen.
name is Noah.
So mom is Evelyn in movie.
Dad's Lee.
Dad is Lee. The deaf daughter is Reagan. The alive son is Marcus. I'm so sorry for your loss. Bo. His name's Bo. And Man in the Woods is just Man in the Woods. And that's the cast, I guess.
Nice.
It's a great cast.
And then
I love Man in the Woods.
The dead son is Bo.
The dead son is indeed Bo. That really is the whole cast.
They didn't mention the name is maybe once.
They said I remember the son's name being mentioned.
I love small. I think that if you're making an argument to a small movie and you can have a small cast carry your entire movie, like that's something where it's like you have a strong group of actors. And typically, I mean, as movie critics, we can tear child actors apart. I thought these kids did a really good job.
Oh, they did amazing.
I think particularly the daughter.
She's
yeah.
really deaf in real life too.
Oh,
Yeah.
is she?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
truly
fucking.
Yeah, that's great. Well, they did the same exact thing for The Shape of Water, to where the lead was actually deaf. They can really get, the emotion behind the sign language, and I mean, it shows. So I thought that was great. What I really liked was, so obviously you hear this water, and it was just like, it was so loud, and the son Noah was afraid to make these noises, and he was like, no, and it's the only time in the entire movie where we hear someone talking in an actual regular speaking voice. And he was like, hey, you should tell her you love her, like, tell her that you don't blame her and blah, 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 because she blames herself and all this type of stuff. And while all of this is going on, I don't know if you guys caught the symmetry, but during this moment of love and clarity and, kind of like emotion, a well-needed emotional release for, this father and son, because they've been through so much over this loud waterfall that is actually acting as their safe haven from the dangers that are around them. You then cut to the mom, who is in the complete opposite situation, where she is having a release of pain and suffering in the moment. It ends up, it's obvious, birth is obviously good pain, you know what I mean? It's not like something terrible is about to happen, there's a new life, but she's going through pain in that moment, and she is actually surrounded by water falling too in the basement, because all that water was falling her, and then that is what she was, that was what was protecting her initially, before the dad gave the son the rocket, and that was her cue where she could just like scream and let the baby out. But I thought it was very cool where you had like this loving, touching moment where they were completely safe with this falling water acting as their safe haven, and then you have this completely treacherous scenario where it's nothing but kind of pain and suffering in the moment. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I did like that a lot. I like the use of sound. In this movie, I think sound was probably used the best out of any other movie I've seen so far.
Oh yeah,
I think-
hands down.
Yeah.
This
You
movie
crafted.
did a lovely thing where, like, if we can think back to all the times we've seen thriller and horror movies, there are signs of relief in them. There are moments of, like, theatrical relief. This movie never let off the gas till the end.
Yeah.
You never felt a moment where you were like, whew. No, it was like, here's a scene, it ends, and then the next scene's like, oh, they're again.
Yeah, that's a great point. The whole time I was watching this movie, I go, this is cool. How long can they keep this up? I was thinking that for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then I never stopped thinking it, and then the movie ended.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I just kept going. I'm just like, all right, at a point, something needs to change. This just can't be The Quiet Place forever. But it was. Like, they stayed. Part of the reason why I was just like, this isn't a gimmick. Like, they did the thing that they said. The movie's called A Quiet Place, and this was a friggin' quiet place the whole time. Thinking of it right now, was there any music in this movie?
outside of what
Very
they were
subtle.
playing when she was dancing? I don't believe so.
There was very subtle. They were. It was more used as like accents, like
Like
suspense
ambient,
accents.
like ambient kind of music and
Yeah,
sounds.
yeah. More
Because I'm
so
thinking,
that way.
I remember the headphone
Yeah.
portion when they were dancing, but I mean like a score. Like, did this
No
movie
score.
has a score?
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't.
We mentioned this in the last review that we did, where I think you and I were touching upon how I don't think movies take advantage of silence. They just kind of have these by the numbers, like stock music scores a lot of the time.
Yeah, like in a lot of ways, Ready Player One. I mean, that's just the score you associate with the
Big
character
blockbuster.
arc that
Yeah.
that Spielberg tries to create.
Yeah.
That's
Ready
what he does.
Ready Player One definitely had a soundtrack. This movie was like really held its name in place.
This is art in that regard, whereas Ready Player One was really kind of just a score to go with the movie. This was kind of the movie to go with the score, or the movie to go with the no score.
The lack of score.
Yeah.
I think
I
any
song to
music
my knowledge.
in this movie would have taken away from the silence and the tenseness
Oh, 100%.
of the environment.
Like I'm gonna call them Demogorgons, but like if the Demogorgon came up and it was like,
It's the monster.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
that would have
These-
taken me out of it. A little
Yeah, I because now that I'm looking back, is you don't realize this, and
They're creatures. They shouldn't be given human expression, and I
Yeah.
feel like giving them a score is kind of giving them a theatrical kind of expression.
Yeah.
Leaving them as what they are lets you kind of just like imagine and kind of see them act, and you kind of create whatever your mind creates.
Yeah.
You know.
If I could just have Justin pull up, they actually go into the backstory of the aliens. John Krasinski came out,
Oh, like
and
not
they
in
do
the
have
movie?
a backstory.
Really?
They just
In the
didn't
movie
delve
or
in.
out of?
They didn't delve into it in the movie. No.
Well, ironically, I'm looking up the history of the monster.
can we talk
you
about
go.
John Krasinski's beard? My God, what
Grows a
Yeah.
nice beard.
it was a really nice
jealous.
beard.
Grows a nice beard.
I looked
Yeah.
up his
Truthfully
IMDb.
jealous.
He hasn't really done that much,
No,
and then this just blew me away.
They
Yeah,
thought he
honestly.
was gonna break out after The Office, but then that movie Leatherheads came out, and it's
Yeah.
just like his career kind of stalled for a little bit.
a little stagnant.
Yeah,
He's directed and acted in a couple other things, but like
I think
nothing major.
this might be his second or third movie he's directed in.
Yeah, but this is the first one I've heard about.
Yeah,
the others are
same.
just
I
I
haven't
haven't heard
seen
about.
the
I
others.
want to see him just because now I've seen someone. When someone can direct and act and make a movie this good, like
And
it's
write.
fucking incredible.
He's already
and
working
right.
on another project produced by I think Michael
Life on
Bay
Mars.
again. Yeah,
That one, yeah. Whatever he does now, I'm gonna follow.
Kind of gives me a little, just for someone who comes out with a thriller directed where they're primarily known for acting and comedy.
I know.
Jordan Peele
Yeah.
Yep.
with
Same
what
producer.
was-
Well,
was it called?
comedy
Get
is
Out.
dark. It lends
Yeah.
itself well to thrillers, horror.
Yeah, it just kind of shows. When I was a kid, I was in an improv troupe, and the whole thing was, we were trying to be funny. The whole thing was, it was kind of whose line is it anyway-esque, where we would get up and just kind of do these improvisational games in front of a live audience at our school, and it was meant to be funny. It was supposed to be a comedy show, and I remember watching Whose Line Is It Anyway with my dad, and my dad, big fan of comedy, and I go, oh, like, how do these guys do this? Like, how do these guys think of these things on the spot like this? And I would watch with my mom and my dad, and they would both be like, if you want to be funny, you need to be so smart. Like, the only way that you can be funny, improvisational like this, is if you are just a brilliant person that has so much of a well-rounded look on so many different things that you can get out there and you can just make people laugh about literally anything. And then when I ended up in this improv troupe, I found out, I was like, I don't know anything about anything. I need to learn more things. And it's really true that these people that are into, I mean, take Louis C.K. for example. He does some of the writing, for so many different late night talk show hosts and things like that, and then for himself, and then you see that his show, Louis C.K., there's actually like some real touching moments. I mean, you think about any of the great comedians, you think about people like George Carlin, and you think about people like that, about how they used comedy as an outlet to just like have their realness and their outlook on life kind of like amplified. And I'm glad that people that are primarily inside of comedy are getting these opportunities to be able to put forth their vision, and whether they're writing, acting, or directing. I think it's so great that people are taking, you look at The Office, people would, they'd write it off as a silly show. And I just think it's great that people are taking it more seriously and seeing that, like people like this have a lot more to offer than just a cheap laugh.
Yeah, that is a good point. I think Get Out did definitely open that gate a little bit more for people. More so, I think, for actors and director actors to look out and say, like, look what he's done. Mm-hmm. What are we doing? We've always, because a lot of people who get stuck in comedies, like comedy actors, never get to do a serious role. Yep. And a lot of the reason is because studios won't give them the opportunity, or they don't have the balls to do the opportunity themselves. And I think what Get Out proved is that make your own opportunity. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like the future now. It's like even with like what we're doing here, it's like you make your own opportunity. Yeah. You can do it now. It's affordable. You can do it on your own. You can put it together. You can find people to do it. You can learn how to do it online, and people are doing it.
Yeah. I love it. Where do we go from there?
So let's
Birth.
She gave birth.
I find that way less interesting than anything else.
What are you looking up? I'm
not looking up anything.
Oh, great. So she gave birth.
I'm listening to the conversation. How dare me?
She gave birth. Well, I saw you doing some stuff. I thought you were looking up
I was looking up a couple.
Rob had mentioned.
Yeah.
I could not find it.
You can't find it? The background?
I know it, but they're actually from an alien world where there's nothing else on there. They've evolved to become virtually invincible, and their homeworld is actually destroyed and explodes. And they come to Earth on like asteroids and meteors.
Okay.
And they basically, the takeover of the world...
Men in Blackish.
Yeah. They take over the world almost instantly. And my friend brought up a point before seeing the movie. He's like, we have fucking tanks. I mean, like, couldn't we take them out? The takeover was so sudden and no one saw it coming. Most of the population was destroyed before they knew they were there.
Did he say how many there are? Because you saw
there
in
are
his notes.
3 around them.
Yeah, like you saw that
how
in
many
his notes.
of them there are?
They've already confirmed there are more than 3 because at the end.
Those were the last 2 that are around their farm.
Yeah.
You see the note in his thing.
3 with a question mark.
Yeah,
how many of them there are
counting.
on the world?
Yeah.
Don't know.
And is it a worldwide thing? Is it only like a countrywide thing? Like they came here in asteroids?
I don't think they.
What are the odds that an asteroid fell in every single like continent?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, these things might be invincible, but are they gonna like swim to Africa and swim to Europe? You know what I mean? Like, is this just I'd be interested to know if this is just a countrywide thing.
That was my main problem.
It was proven wrong
with the movie. I just wish that they delved into their backstory.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of good not knowing where they came from and that they still remained mysterious in a way.
Yeah, I don't mind not knowing.
They did show that when he was crossing off he was trying the different feeds for an SOS.
They weren't responding.
He's crossing off countries. So we just confirmed that we don't know how, but it was everywhere.
Like the whole world is in ruins. Not just us or America.
I think like one of the weirdest situations was like, why did they kill? That was never addressed. Like why they just kill.
Because it said on the notes.
They don't eat.
Why don't they eat their kill?
They don't eat their kill. They don't seem to have a reasonable cause for their murder. But they kill everything that goes like.
Yeah.
Territorial takeover, terraforming.
I could get that, but like, why did they just?
I don't know.
Like, I realized this when
point.
when one of them killed the raccoon. Yeah. That scene, like, it was such an insignificant scene. It was kind of humorous. Like, a lot of these movies are humorous, but I think
that was right after the lantern fell, and they were like, "Oh shit, those things are here." Yeah. And then the sound came, and the raccoons were.
It was like a weird movie. Like, it had moments of humor where it was really just you being so tense for so long that if you didn't laugh, you'd probably die.
Well, that was the first time we saw it kill something, correct?
Yeah.
No, in the very beginning, it killed the son.
Yeah,
We didn't
Presumably.
see
it was the
though.
first
We didn't
time
see
in
it.
the current timeline that it killed something.
They didn't even show it kill the sun. They just showed like a swoop
Yeah, I thought
gone.
when
and
I
then
s-
cut 400 something days later.
Yeah. When I saw that, how I interpreted it was, okay, this is the threshold of how loud you could be. Like, you need to be quieter than a raccoon.
Yeah.
That's when you
You-
figured
just
that out?
You know what I mean? I
figured
came
that
into the
out.
movie late.
That's
Well-
fine. I figured that out like nearly the pharmacy.
The
scene.
raccoon was triggered by the lantern falling.
Yeah.
So like you know how they do their thing where they get super high intensity with their ears or whatever the call it, and they can
Their
hone in
head
on
holes.
sounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, the
They were
lantern,
already zoning in on
Right,
that area,
right.
and then they heard the raccoon, and it happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, and when you ask like, oh, why don't they eat their kill? I find that is a completely fine question because the characters in the actual movie were asking that question too. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a plot hole where we were like, well, what the hell?
They don't
it was,
know.
they not only do they not know, but they want to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it speaks to, that's a character, audience relationship where they're asking the same questions that we are. And they're acknowledging the fact that there is something weird going on, and that gives the impression that there's just this small little nod that if there's another one, maybe they'll address it. What about that? Do you guys think there'll be a Quiet Place 2?
Yes.
No, actually,
I think they shouldn't.
same.
I think they shouldn't, but that doesn't mean they won't.
I loved the ending.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's gonna
let's
make
do it.
it's gonna make enough money to warrant the studio ordering another one, but it ended so perfectly to where they know their weakness, they know how to get it done. And in the second movie, what can you really do? She's raising the kid, part-time
I think-
monster hunter.
we don't wanna
it
see
then
that.
becomes a completely different movie.
Yeah.
And it's like live, die, repeat.
Part-time monster hunter.
Emily verse.
That's that's
It's
the title.
evil.
A Quiet Place 2. Part-time monster.
Yeah.
That's great.
It ended on such a solid note that a sequel. I'm usually one where if a sequel fits, do it. Remake fits, do it. But I feel a sequel would diminish the meaning of the first movie.
They definitely ended
Yeah.
this in a way in which if there is a sequel, we
They def-
all
yeah.
we all logically know it'll be Deaf Girl the fuck, which is reasonable to think that because that's the only place it could go if it was a sequel to our knowledge. But I'm with you in that if there is no sequel, I'm okay with how it
Yeah.
ended, which is maybe not a thing we should get. Well, we could. It doesn't matter.
I would
But-
certainly.
if they
No
made a sequel, I'd watch
Please,
it.
no sequel though.
Yeah.
I
I
would
felt the
say.
same. I hate bringing up Stranger Things so many times, but I felt the same thing in Stranger Things where it ended, and then I was just like, I like that there's questions. That's what makes a fan base go ravenous because they have all these questions and they can talk and they can theorize and exchange theories and ideas
Yeah.
with each other. That's what's so great. And I saw it and I was like, oh, there's still a little bit of the upside down in him when he coughed up the little leech there, and I was just like, oh, I'm okay with having this mysterious kind of open-ended.
You didn't
ending.
need the sequel,
I didn't.
but it was
I
fun.
didn't need it.
See, with
but
the
it was
show-
fun.
It still worked.
With the show, I totally wanted a sequel to that. What they did with it, I wasn't 100% happy with, but it was okay.
I still thought
think
the
they could've
sequel.
done
I
much better.
thought
What
the
if this
sequel
had-
season was good. It didn't capture the magic that the first season
Yeah.
did, but it was still good and well done. I think it had some moments. Episode 7 was the oh my fucking how bad episode 7
Oh, it's the one
was.
with the girls.
I don't want to talk about it.
Girl,
I don't want to talk about it. I hated that stupid episode so much. It was so bad. Such a
Yeah.
weird departure from not only the story but the quality
Yeah.
of Stranger Things. It was a departure in so many ways, and like it just seemed like there was like this new team. They were like, we got this great idea, and they're like, just let them do the thing that they want to do. And then they did this thing, and they're just like, I guess we'll put it in the season. Like, just a terror. Like you could completely. Yeah, completely throw away, and I actually want to go into it a lot right now, but we won't. We'll get back to A Quiet Place. I'm sorry, I want to go in on that
is fucking
episode.
stupid.
I want to go in on that episode so bad. But we got the childbirth
Well,
dad
hold
shows
on.
up.
I kind of have like a question though.
Yeah.
Like, because we never really finished this. What if the sequels, and I know you're going to punch me in the face if I mention Cloverfield one more time, but hear my logic. What if this movie's followed Cloverfield in the same idea that, like, if you watch Cloverfield 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 will be out later this year, but like, if you watch them, they make no fucking sense in and of each other. But the universe makes sense. This movie is literally a frame from not being Cloverfield. One frame, if it just said Cloverfield Farm, it's Cloverfield 5.
Funny thing you say that, the writers were going to tie it into the Cloverfield universe.
Shocker.
Wait, what?
They should have fucked off with that stupid ass paradox.
Hated that.
I love that movie.
And made
I
this
loved it.
the third
Loved it.
Cloverfield
It was
movie.
so
This
dumb.
fits so well
But I
into
loved
that
it.
universe in that it's not connected.
It fits
But
better
it
in
is
it than
connected.
Paradox.
They did this. They did the same thing in Split,
Yeah.
where it was an unknown sequel to Unbreakable.
Well, a lot of
Yeah.
people thought that movie Life with
I hated that fucking
they
movie.
thought that was a prequel to the Venom movie. And that the monster in that was going to be the symbiote from Venom.
It's a pretty cool concept.
I mean,
so.
Maybe,
when
yeah.
you read about it, it's kind of cool, but watching the movie, you're like, no.
Yeah, sounds
But
good in theory.
I think this movie could have been a Cloverfield movie, and I would have been actually more excited about it after seeing it, knowing it that it was part of the Cloverfield universe.
Which movie?
A Quiet Place.
Quiet Place?
Yeah.
I'm so glad it's not part of the universe.
No, I'm with Rob. Like,
No,
if this was
I
part
would
of
have
the
loved it
Cloverfield
because
universe,
Cloverfield Lane, you watch that movie in and of itself, it's a good movie.
You don't know
But
what's
when
going
you
on.
tie it into the Cloverfield franchise, you're like,
well, you guys are like shitting on Paradox, but Paradox actually answers inadvertently a lot of the questions of what's happening in the Paradox universe. Well, in that scenario, it's a multiverse, but it does answer where the monster came from. True, it finally gives you an answer to where this came from that you don't get in 1, 2, or 3. And I don't know what 4 is going to be, so we'll have to wait till the end of this year.
I just
stay tuned.
Movies are
But-
changing so much. I feel like it is just more and more rare to find a movie that it's just a movie that's good.
yeah.
And then that's it. You know what I mean? I don't need sequels. I don't need prequels. I don't need these sequel seasons. I don't need like prequel, sequel, trilogy, like all of this stuff. When you find just like a good old movie, it's just great. Like when you go back and you talk about like a lot of great movies that have been in the past, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of them have been like, oh, you seen this movie? Oh yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
don't get
like, oh hey, have you
confidence like
seen
we
this
used
movie?
to.
Oh yeah. What about the second and the third one though? You know what I mean? It's just like I really like the idea of having just like it's a movie.
Yeah,
and then
That's
that's
what's so good about movies like Ex Machina and Annihilation.
Oh my God! Can we not? I can't.
I
I
know.
can't not talk
Bobby
about
is
him.
wet
He's
for Ex
probably my
Machina.
favorite director
Ex Machina,
working right now.
I'm so sorry.
Same. Ex Machina is my favorite. I mentioned this in our last review too about how it was my favorite. I think routinely every single review we do, I'm just gonna be like, an Ex Machina. It's gonna be like my like. It'll be my Brett Favre if I was.
Keep coming out of retirement, keep rearing its head.
If I was who's the guy? Who's the announcer? What's his name?
John Madden.
Yeah. That is. I'll bring up Annihilation like he brings up Brett Favre. But
It was the only movie I bought in 4K UHD to test out my TV because I give no shits about 4K UHD, but I know that movie will look damn good.
I bought John Wick 2.
Damn it.
that movie
In
looked
UHD.
so great.
Yeah.
The
I'm
practical
not sorry.
effects in that movie were so good.
Yeah.
But A Quiet Place was good too. And there's my segue right back in.
Did
So the
anybody
ending,
know
we liked
that
it.
Michael Bay produced it though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does
A
everything.
Quiet Place?
He's produced some good movies. I'm not a fan of his directing.
Dude,
per se.
whoa! I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah.
What did he do specifically?
He
in this
produced
movie?
it.
Are you sure
Produced,
produced?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it said in association.
To my knowledge. He's
It-
number one. He's the producer.
It's his producing company. He was on
Huh.
John Krasinski's last movie too.
Huh.
The one about Benghazi.
I didn't know that.
And he's
Yeah.
producing the next one that he's directing. He may have produced all of John Krasinski's movies.
Which, like, it really fucked me up because, like, this movie's not a Michael Bay-esque film, but, like, that's also, like,
No.
us being ignorant thinking Michael Bay
It's not
only
a
goes...
giant piece of
but
crap.
that's Michael Bay, the
It's
director.
a massive piece of shit of Michael Bay's.
What's interesting is
but not this one.
Blumhouse is getting shittier. For the most part, Blumhouse is getting shittier. Get Out was good, but for the most part, Blumhouse is putting out a lot of shit now.
Well, they put out shit before Get Out. They have the occasional hit. Everything's just so low budget that they'll have something produced for $5 million goes on to make $100.
Yeah. They had a good run for a while, but kind of just
I'm interested.
oversaturated now.
I don't know how we bring this up right now.
Just bring it up.
We're just looking.
Bay is set to produce The Purge, a TV series.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? Where the fuck?
He produces everything.
And the series is coming
Dude's
out.
got money up.
No, it's a TV show coming
Yeah.
out about The Purge.
That's
I'm not going to
interesting.
talk about Transformers 8, 9, 14, 27.
Fuck those
Why
movies.
is Transformers 7 coming out after Transformers 8?
The Bumblebee movie.
Transformers is
A trash
I
can
will say on camera
on
right
fire.
now, I think Transformers is the worst movie franchise that has ever existed.
It's like if a trash can caught on fire and then caught on fire again.
It's more like a trash can caught on fire
bad.
and then committed a hate crime.
But then raise money.
but then still
Dude,
met goals.
the last one pulled in like I'm pretty sure I thought they were losing the rights.
They're making another one.
They're
I
making
know they're
two
making
more.
another one.
They're making
And
two
Bumblebee
more.
movie, yeah.
At least.
So like the first one, the one he's stick to 10,
Fair.
please.
Fair.
The first one was bad, but people were like, well, the sound
That was
design.
the best one.
Yeah, they were like the sound design was good, and the Transformers looked really cool. So I guess I'll give it a pass. Then the second one was made during the writer's strike, and it made no sense, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. And then everyone was like, well, it was made during the writer's strike. And then the third one came out, and they were like, well, this new girl's kind of hot, and the trailer looks like they fixed some things. And then you saw it, and it was a colossal piece of crap. And then the fourth one came out, and then you were like, can it get worse?
So
Oh my god, it can get worse.
This is
Mark Wahlberg is in it, and he goes, dude, how are you gonna reference Transformers in a Transformers movie? You don't call Transformers aren't Transformers.
They're fucking robots.
They're Autobots. They call them Autobots in the movie. And he goes, oh my god, I don't think this is a normal truck at all. I think we just found ourselves a Transformer. And I'm like, you can't. It's a Transformer. And I'm like, why is this important? And he goes, I'm an inventor. The whole fucking movie, I'm an inventor. If I can apply this technology to my inventions, we'd never have to worry about money again. And like literally pauses the movie for like 20 minutes to explain why it's not illegal for this like adult man to pork this minor. It was so bad. It just reaches a new low. It's so bad. And then I didn't even see this last one. I bet you I could tell you everything that happened in this new one.
Knights of the Round Table, Nazis.
I could literally tell you everything that happened.
If I read you of the last night, the description is Autobots and Decepticons are at war with humans on the sidelines. Optimus Prime is gone. The key to saving our future lies buried in the secrets of the past in a hidden history of Transformers on Earth. I don't want to watch this based on that fucking basic synopsis because what does that mean? It's about nothing. But like, what's amazing is like this trash can of a movie was made on 217 estimated budget of a million. It made 605 million. 100 million. I'm so sorry. Like,
Thanks,
it
China.
tripled its budget.
No.
Yet that's a success by some standards.
After it's all said and done, it probably just barely evened out with marketing costs, company
You know,
ticket
budget
prices.
includes marketing costs generally.
No, you have to double that. Marketing, ticket budgets, the company's
But budget
cut.
generally
Sure, it's
does
separate.
include marketing.
Yeah, budget.
217 million for a movie
should include marketing.
definitely
No,
has to
that's-
include
That's
marketing.
just the production.
I don't believe you.
I do want to go on record and say that I love the Transformers franchise, though. I do want to say that. Not the movie franchise, the franchise.
Transformers in general.
Transformers.
The
I like
idea of
Transformers.
Oh, they were cool.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I want to go on record. I want to go on record right now and say that I love the Transformers franchise as a unit.
Yeah.
I love Peter Cullen. You are literally a gift to this earth. Thank you for doing what you do. Give me Fall of Cybertron, the movie.
I loved Beast Wars.
So the last point I want to make, since we only got here because
I know what you're talking about.
we only got here because of Michael Bay, but
we
he's
only got here because Quiet Place is so good. We can't really complain.
yeah, we're not even
We
like he
can't
fell off
complain
top.
so
at
good.
all.
But
Does anyone have any gripes about the movie?
Other than the nail?
Yeah.
fuck hell.
That nail shouldn't have come up, but let me see. Gripes about the movie. I thought, now, okay.
The ending would be the only gripe.
It was.
You didn't like the ending?
No. I think that's the only reasonable gripe anybody I've seen has with this movie is the
Why do
ending.
you think it's reasonable?
But I'm sorry, Bobby. What's your point?
I was gonna say.
My bad.
No, it's cool. I was gonna say that this movie obviously does a great job putting you into the universe, putting you into whatever it is, and you feel suspense and you feel whatever. I felt like I knew what was gonna happen.
To a point. This movie didn't hold your hand enough to let you. This movie didn't hold your hand enough to let you know what was gonna happen, but it didn't avoid the obvious too much. Like the nail popped up 20 to 30 minutes before she stepped on it. That's
it's
insane.
almost enough time
like
to where you
extra
almost
timing.
forget about
I
it.
never
wasn't
forgot.
talking about that. I knew
He was
like
on the verge.
No, Rob, I never forgot because the camera focused on the nail
yeah.
so hard that I'm like, this isn't even hiding the fact
Yeah.
that somebody, you don't know who.
As soon as that pops up,
Am
you're
I
like,
the only one that
something's
really
gonna-
hoped the monster stepped on it and it didn't? And
I
was
did.
so mad.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
But then thinking, I was like, these fucking things stood human counterattack, and a nail's gonna do them in.
But if he stepped on a nail and just went woo, it would have been fucking hilarious. It would have ruined the movie probably, but it would have been so funny.
I knew at every point where the monster, they're Demogorgons. The Demogorgon was trying to get the kids. I knew they weren't going to get them. At no point did I actually feel worried for the kids. I knew that the kids weren't going to die.
I thought all bets were off.
The
No, see, I thought all that-
second that John Krasinski am I getting that right? Second that pretty good, Bobby. I gotta hand it to you. The second that John Krasinski was in there and he sacrificed himself, I was just like, oh, I got it. It didn't come to a shock to me that he sacrificed himself. Nothing gave me a go. Oh my God! Nothing. He sacrificed himself. Did I know he was going to do that? Sacrificed himself. Did I know he was going to do that in the beginning of the movie? No. But when he did, I was just like, yeah.
Side
So
note,
this-
most feels I've gotten in a movie in a while
I
was when
literally-
he did that.
I cried. I truthfully cried.
That's interesting.
Because when he looked at his daughter and signed "I loved you,"
Yeah.
I've always loved
Wrecked
you.
me.
I was like, this motherfucker, he's gonna do it.
Yeah. The biggest problem was okay, Bobby, you weren't there when the kid got killed, to my knowledge. So it's understandable why you thought the kids were safe. Those of us that were at the beginning never thought the kids were safe. I thought
know that a kid died though.
you knew a kid died, but if you saw the way he died, you'd have been like, this movie doesn't give a fuck about kids. Everybody's fucked. Everybody is equally as fucked as the next. I thought the baby was gonna die.
I
the
thought
new
the
baby.
monster was eating the baby when she first woke up, and it was in the corner. I was like, this thing
Same.
already ate the baby.
It's just eating babes, babies. Babies. It was just not.
Where did
great.
that water come from, by the way? The water that
The
that
water tank that they
slid-
have stored up in the farm, and the thing broke into it because it was looking for him. Because of
That's
the
true. Yeah, okay, I see that logic, but that exposition was not given when we were watching it.
No, not well.
That was a lot of draw your own conclusion on where the water came from. It was just here's John leaving the barn, and then I fuck his name. Here's John leaving the barn, and then
got the
water,
teacher's name
and,
to
and you saw the
remember.
water, and you're like, shit's gonna go.
The
wrong
exposition
soon.
of the water, though, where you knew is oh shit. The thing that was used earlier in the movie that was to mask louder noises is now the loud noise that's drawing the creatures to the fucking basement.
Yeah, it was a fun.
So-
I have no idea how the
irony.
monster got
Yeah.
in the basement because I believe the mattress was still covering the hole. I could be wrong.
Oh, it got
I
past
think
it.
that's a different.
It's
got
a different
past it,
base.
moved it
different.
back?
That was in the barn.
Yeah, that was a different.
Yeah.
The barn's
when
basement.
in the water was when the mom was alone in the basement before the dad got there. She was still running from the thing. They didn't go in the hole with the mattress over it until the dad got back, and that whole scene had ended.
The water filling up was in the basement, though.
Yeah.
Barn
Of a
basement.
different
Barn
different
basement.
place.
They stay in the basement. His lab is in the house basement.
Right.
But they weren't in the lab basement because that was safe at the end of the movie. Where am I lost?
They
Where are you lost?
They moved at one point. She was carried.
Yeah.
Right after she had the baby, she was carried. Do you remember?
Yeah, but she fell asleep in the basement of the barn.
Yes.
In my mind, in the barn with the baby.
Right.
The fucking weird murder crib. That's what I'm calling it. It was really creepy.
It
It
was
was started. I had no idea what it was
Creepy.
for.
I thought they were just
They're
gonna
gonna show the crib
suffocate the
before the
baby
baby
to stay alive.
That's art. That's weird, but that was art.
I thought he was gonna kill the baby to stay alive and
I
just cry.
I was hoping
Tearjerking scene.
abortion the whole time. I'm mad that I thought it, but the whole time I was like, clean it out. Please.
Clean it out.
In this universe, you're gonna have a kid? Don't. And then they went like, we're gonna have a kid?
Isn't
In
that
the tub.
still
But like, what
noisy?
if accidents happen though? Accidents happen, and if you're against killing your kid or
out?
abortion, then you just have
Who's having
have to
sex
have the
in
kid.
this world?
Once
You can
again.
have sex in any world.
It's Emily
That's
Blunt.
true.
Yeah,
You
more
don't
reason
pass
to have
that
The
up.
sex.
Emily Blunt
What else is
argument
there?
is
You don't pass
wild.
that up. Tom Cruise couldn't resist, and he's fucking
He is insane.
live, die, repeat. He died over and over again for that.
Speaking of Mission Impossible 4, despite knowing it's probably going to be shit, they're actually
This is Mission Impossible 6.
is it 6?
Yeah.
I would,
So
Two movies behind.
The last
Mission
two were the best.
Impossible 4.
really
5 and 4 were the best ones.
shit.
that bar's so
How much could Tom Cruise kick his own ass?
Broke his own ankle.
Yeah, in order to do his own stunts.
He
He's
still
insane.
believes in Xenu and volcanoes erupting. He's not
I do
gonna
like
do it.
him, despite being in a lot of cheesy
Nukes
movies.
and
I
volcanoes.
do like
I'm
him.
Dude, that's what happened, all right?
sorry. You would believe in Scientology for the story.
Nah. Hey, it's a good story. What was that? Do you guys watch Big Mouth on Netflix?
Yes.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You're wrong.
When he was like, he goes, and that's what happens. He goes, yup. He goes, that sounds like a lot like Scientology. He goes, yeah. Out of everyone, they were the closest. And you just,
I love
hear-
Jason Mantzoukas.
That show is so gold.
It, I think, has a lot of problems, but I think it's really funny.
All right.
I
don't. We're not going to go into the problems, but
Who's the ghost? The ghost singer? God, I hate him so much.
he's not great, but
No, what's the main character's name? The kid with the big mouth. What's his name?
John Mulaney?
No.
No,
He
that's,
goes-
not that's not the character's name.
I just hate his voice. Like, I just hate him. He's just like,
Hey, it's John
what are you doing? Honey the bear with the bear. And I'm like, shut fucking mouth. Like, you are
Wait,
so aggravating.
Is it that dude that looks like he's on crack the whole time?
You talking about Jason Mantzoukas?
Is that
Okay.
the guy?
I'm talking about the only ghost in the entire
I've
movie.
never seen the show, but from the
Jordan
voice,
Peele is the ghost,
I hate him.
which
I
is wild.
hate him. Who's okay, you got Nick and Andrew. Yeah. Nick, let me tell you about a story. One time I was doing that. And I'm like, can you not have one level of your... Can you please just not scream all the time constantly? I hate you. And I hate the other hormone monster.
The woman,
No, she's great.
the male one.
No, the other one who's
Oh, the old one.
Yeah. Want me to teach you how to masturbate? And I'm like, get the out of it's so bad.
No, it's fucking a.
Oh, it's so garbage.
Because Nick's like, I don't want that one,
No.
and the other one's like, that's what you got, buddy. I can't help you. You're not ready
If
yet.
he's a main part of the second season, I'm going to be very upset. I probably won't watch it. He is so aggravating. He's like, you're the man, Steve. We love pizza. I'm like, are
It's
you
so
shitting
funny.
me?
You're
Is this
wrong.
like
So
an animated show?
stupid. Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
I love
Play
animation.
this way.
What's amazing is those two
I don't
fuck,
know.
three
Yeah,
fucks
it's
don't
You're the worst.
Although Aqua Teen Hunger Force came up in conversation today, and I cried when Taylor didn't know anything from it.
Honestly, I've never watched it.
Really?
Were we talking about
alright.
A Quiet Place?
Fuck that.
Dude, A Quiet. I really liked A Quiet Place. Rob, what did you
All
think?
right, summary.
I love this movie again. Probably one of my favorites of the year. Top 3, definitely.
And grade. What would you grade it?
I'm gonna give it a solid A to an A minus.
All right.
Sure.
I'm in there with. I don't give it. I don't think I can give it A plus, but I'm gonna go A. A plus is like when you go to like 1 to 10. I usually review things on, but giving plus and minus gives me a lot more to work with. I don't think I can give anything an A plus. I don't think I can ever give anything an A plus.
Sure. In terms of my letter grade, I didn't. In terms of being created, like in terms of the effort that went into, or the effort behind this movie, it's just so, I thought, so well made. Like, I would give it an A plus in terms of how well it's made. My personal grade, I'd probably go B plus. Like, there was something I didn't feel like in things like Ex Machina. I didn't feel the thing and go, oh my God, like this is so, like that's an A plus to me. So I would give it a B plus for being extremely well crafted, and the acting, the sound.
I think I would probably give this movie an A minus based on the feelings it evoked from literally 0 minutes to end. This movie made me fucking curl into a ball in these seats the whole movie because I just kept cringing at every situation. And I haven't felt that since maybe Don't Breathe. And it evoked a sense of mystery that I haven't felt since the OG Cloverfield, which are like two great compliments to this movie, which is like, it evoked a feeling of stress I haven't felt in a very long time, and evoked a feeling of mystery I haven't felt in a very long time, because movies just hand feed you exposition on a platter and go, here's A and B and C and D, and this movie is like, you guess, and you truly guess from start to finish. Gas. You have to like use your imagination for a lot of this movie, and I think the ending was the biggest sign of that. Like, half the people like me are like, this ending's a trash can, and the other half of me's just like, I'm comfortable with this ending. Like, that's some like John Wick 3 she's about to pull, and I want to see it, but I'm okay not seeing it.
Yeah. You know what? I think I gotta move my grade to an A minus. Now that I'm thinking about it, like I can't give
It's
Ready
not
Player.
truly an A plus.
I can't give Ready Player One a C and then only give this a grade and a half more than it. This is an A minus movie. Whether you're into this kind of stuff or not, it's brilliantly crafted. There's no downtime, and we literally had to try and think of gripes with this movie. Rob, I'm interested to know, did you like this movie better than Annihilation?
I'm gonna have to see it again because I've seen Annihilation twice. I've only seen this once. As of right now, I'm gonna say no.
Okay,
Annihilation's probably been my favorite movie of the year so far.
I can dig it.
This probably sits at the top of my list so far.
Yeah.
Currently, this is number 1 on 2018's list, but I've seen so few fucking movies this year. It can only be number 1 on my list right now.
Go see The Winchester.
Well, with that being said,
Make me.
No, it's so bad.
we'll be doing more soon.
learn to
Thanks
see
for
that.
watching, guys. Yeah, we'll see you next time. What's our next movie?
We'll talk about that after. Rob, you got any plugs?
I don't.
Just butt plugs?
Okay, we can't get into that. That's a whole nother episode.
I am so ready for Super Troopers 2.
That butt plug's a whole nother episode. I got 3 hours of material.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.